everyone, and welcome to Word on the Street. My name is Cyrilda Summers McGee, and I'm the founder and CEO of Workplace Change, which is a human resources, change management, and diversity, equity, and inclusion firm based in the Pacific Northwest, but doing work all over the nation. So let's get to my perspective on a few different topics. Word on the street is that people are confused about how to best support folks who are on maternity leave without pressuring them to be on email forever. Here's my perspective about it. All right, gang. So I've been on maternity leave a couple times. I've got a 13-year-old and a soon-to-be 9-year-old this week. And I also have my vice president of people and culture here at Workplace Change, who's returning from maternity leave today. I missed her so desperately. I'm so excited she's back. The team is excited that she's back. But how do you support someone, especially an executive, right? So this is for FLSA exempt employees, not folks who are hourly, who are kind of clocking in and clocking out. These are for folks who work as long as they have to work in order to get the work done, right? These are the folks who, when they take maternity leave, what tends to happen is that they're still live and on email the entire time they're on maternity leave, which is not the vibe, right? So what are the things you can do to support someone who is on maternity leave? Great question. Let's talk about some of the things that people are doing that I've got some opinions about. So number one, there are some companies that are out there that completely shut down your entire email. They will say, you can't access the email, you can't access the entire system, almost as if you've been fired, right? And I understand, doing HR work, I understand the thinking behind it. You are on FMLA protected leave for 12 weeks, and they want to make sure that you don't put the company at risk of them, having you work when you are on approved federal leave. I get that. However, if you're completely shut out of all the systems, how do you remain in contact with colleagues that you want to remain in contact with, or with networks that you want to remain in contact with? That is pretty, paternalistic to tell someone, an executive in your organization, a FMLA exempt employee, that they cannot check their email, they cannot go into the system, period, at all, full stop. I feel like that's a little heavy-handed. There are some folks who will some organizations will completely remove access to email and other software that you may be checking or tracking business development opportunities, but they'll keep Slack accessible to you. So you can still have a social outlet, share some baby pictures, check in with your employee resource group, which is really important to many different people. And so I can get that. I mean, a little bit of access point here or there, but is that the best strategy for everybody? There's some organizations that will make your email accessible to someone else on your team. They will be responsible for checking your email, and then they'll put like a folder of a FYI when you return, so that when the person comes back from leave, they're not inundated with like 7,000 emails, which definitely would be Casey's case if there were, if no one was checking her email the entire time. So what's the best strategy? Right, I've given you some different options that people are using. Oh yeah, then there's always the option of when folks leave for maternity leave or for paternity leave, and you email them and text them the entire time because you don't know where the files are, or this client said X, Y, or Z, and you are on their case the entire time, and they feel like they actually don't have any space to bond with their child, this new person in their lives. That's the kind of the worst scenario. My recommendation is this for you. Number one, don't do that last scenario where you're constantly bombarding them with text messages and emails, asking them questions. You knew that they were going to go on leave. You had likely several months to plan for this, and now they're out of here. So you have to just make a way for yourself and your team without them being present. Deal with it, okay? Just deal with that. But as far as how much access they should get, you should leave it to their discretion, right? Give them the expectation that they don't have to check in at all, full stop. But if they want to check in, if they want to check their email, if they want to have access to the systems every once in a while, that they have access to it. Don't tell them how it is that they should bond with their child or take their protected leave. That is not your call, in my professional opinion. Instead, give them options and let them know that there's nothing expected from them besides being on leave and then coming back to work where they'll be greeted with open arms. So that's this word on the street. How do you support someone who's on maternity leave? I've been on maternity leave a few times. I've got an employee who's on maternity leave. Well, she was yesterday, but now she's back. And I'm gonna say that is the best situation, is to give them the option, support them as best as possible, and make it as easy for them as humanly possible. Hey, their lives have just changed forever. So that's this issue of Word on the Street. Thanks for jumping into the conversation. If you've got some other ideas, if you've got some other ways that you'd like to be supported or a different perspective, or if you just want to say, I completely agree, jump in the chat. We'd love to hear from you.